from Don Shea Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So, man, for the longest, we've been left in the dark when it comes to what's really going on behind closed doors in terms of negotiations for this fight between Canelo and Caleb Plant. Well, finally, somebody shines a major light on the situation, lets us inside of what's really going on, and that's Caleb Plant. It was just reported the other day that negotiations have completely fallen apart to make this fight happen. This is what Caleb Plant said about the situation. He's talking about Canelo. He says his bark is bigger than his bite. Canelo was offered the highest guarantee of his career. He was set to make $40 million plus, Mexican TV rights, and his Hennessy sponsorship. I said, no problem, let's fight. We gave it to him. Then they wanted upside on gate and pay-per-view revenue. No problem, let's rumble. It was always agreed that it was a title unification, no rematch for either fighter. Towards the end of negotiations, they asked for a rematch when they lose. No problem. You can have the rematch as well. I just want to fight. Plant actually said that his team, they agreed to all of the demands 2 weeks ago. Then Plant, he says no arguments about money or any stipulations. Besides the one-way rematch clause, it would only go in effect if Alvarez lost, which Plant said he agreed to. Plant, he goes on by talking about the stipulations in the contract when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. He says, one thing that was absurd is if I get injured or sick, then he gets a late replacement for the same amount guaranteed money. But if he gets sick or injured, then we gotta wait for him. We're at 7.5 weeks from the fight. We've lost valuable time that should be spent promoting and drug testing for a fight of this magnitude. I question whether legacy or money is the real motive. We've been waiting for him to get done with his wedding, shooting his TV show, his golf tournament, and now have tried to give him everything he wants and more to make this fight. I'm more than willing, able, and ready to fight Canelo Alvarez on any date. Those are the real facts. And if anyone has something to say differently, we have the paperwork to prove it. End quote. Now, what's interesting is Caleb Plant, he said all of that, which was extremely informative, but he still never explained what Canelo Alvarez's gripe is. What's stopping Canelo Alvarez from agreeing to take this fight, or at least taking it right now? The one thing I did notice, now the one thing that stood out the most, is when Caleb Plant brought up drug testing. He said, while all of this time is being wasted, we could be promoting the fight, we could be doing drug testing by now. Which obviously means Canelo Alvarez is not being tested as of now, right? Now, I had told you guys there could possibly be a dispute when it comes to drug testing for this fight. Because we already know Canelo has already agreed to how much money he's willing to pay Caleb Plant. We know there's not a problem when it comes to if this fight is going to be on PBC or DAZN, because Canelo has already agreed, had no problem with fighting on PBC. On top of that, Canelo is a free agent, so he doesn't have a deal with DAZN. So if it's not a money issue, if it's not a network issue, what else could be holding up this fight? According to Caleb Plant, Caleb has agreed to all of Canelo's demands. And so far, we haven't heard Canelo Alvarez come out and say that Caleb Plant is lying. He's not telling the truth, right? We haven't heard him say, oh, well, you know, Plant is asking for this and Plant is asking for that. Maybe he will come out and speak on this, but he hasn't said it yet. So what else could it possibly be? I mean, Canelo Alvarez, he continues to do this when it comes to negotiating his fights, where negotiations, they go on too long, and then all of a sudden, Canelo, he ends up fighting someone else. Or sometime, he still ends up fighting the same guy. He did this with Plant, he did this with BJ Saunders, he did this with Kovalev. I believe the walls are definitely closing in on Canelo, and what that means is networks, promoters, they're telling Canelo Alvarez, look, Canelo, if you want to make this kind of crazy money, you're going to have to fight somebody. So what that means is, if he fights Caleb Plant or not, the next guy he ends up fighting is going to most likely be a dangerous opponent. Either it's going to be a light heavyweight when it comes to Better Biev and Bivol, or he's going to probably take the safest big name fight, which would be a third fight with Gennady Golovkin. According to reports, according to Gennady Golovkin himself, DAZN actually reached out to him a couple weeks ago and asked him, would he be available, in September? So that could be a backup plan right there. But either way, I truly believe it's going to be hard for Canelo Alvarez to keep fighting the Abney Yildirim's, the Rocky Fieldings, because I think networks are really getting sick of paying Canelo Alvarez all of this money for him to fight people that no one wants to see him fight. So let's see how this plays out. I still believe that there's still a really good chance that we're going to get this fight, Canelo versus Plant, because of how bad Canelo wants this fight. He wants to call himself undisputed, and he can only do it by fighting Caleb Plant. Let's see what happens. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo de Key Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling and inflammation and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodekey.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.
An important message from Youth Fountain Laboratory, makers of VasoFlux and VasoFlux for Men. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Plaque Out. Plaque Out is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856. And remember, to help unclog veins and arteries, get the plaque out.